40 years ago, on December 10th, 1979, democracy activists held a rally in Kaohsiung, southern Taiwan. It was called later on the Kaohsiung Incident. Now, they didn't realize it at the time, but it would become one of the most important moments in Taiwan's road to democracy. And that's the subject of today's Taiwan Explained.
Great. So you have 60 seconds to explain that. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, go.
All right. First, some background. In 1979, Taiwan was under martial law and single-party rule. It was governed by the Kuomintang, or KMT, which retreated from China to Taiwan in the 1940s. Now, the government had tight control on the media, but that didn't stop activists from starting the Formosa magazine in 1979, in May of that year. Now, the magazine did very well. Its second and third issues selling almost 100,000 copies, and that got the authorities' attention. Now, the magazine arranged a Human Rights Day celebration on December 10th that year. The military police and the army surrounded the demonstrators. Clashes broke out, and the authorities used the incident as an excuse to arrest almost all of the well-known opposition leaders. Now, the 8 prominent leaders were known as the Kaohsiung 8. They were tried in military court, sentenced to 12 years to life in prison. Another 36 people were also charged. Now, the incident led to a decade of protests, more arrests, and it galvanized the pro-democracy movement. And it led to the founding of the Democratic Progressive Party.
Very good, Andrew.
All right.
And that was very interesting. And I know that a lot of those 8 would become famous politicians later, right?
That's right. Actually, they were all known for being part of what was called the Dangwai movement, so outside of the party, so AKA not the KMT. And they actually would go on to form their own party, as I mentioned, and 7 of the 8 would become part of the DPP. All of them would go into politics or government in one way or another. Just want to show you some of them. Of course, in the center there, that's Annette Lu, who is former vice president. She almost ran for president this year. On the right, that's Chen Zhu. She was the mayor of Kaohsiung for a while and also is currently the secretary general to the president. And then on the left, we have Shi Mingde, who is a former DPP chairman, and also he was a lawmaker as well.
Some of the human rights lawyers also became very famous and powerful.
That's right. So the lawyers for the Kaohsiung 8 and for others also would go on to do big things. In the center there, that's Chen Shui-bian, who's a former president, a 2-term president. On the right is Frank Xie, a former premier, who's currently Taiwan's representative to Japan. And on the left there is the current premier, Su Zhenchang. So they all went on to go into government.
Yes, it's very interesting and fascinating. Thank you very much, Andrew. And that is our Taiwan Explained for this week.